This is the monastery of Panagia Spiliani on the Greek island of Samos. The monastery's got stunning views over the Aegean Sea and every year attracts visitors from all over the world. It's an example of how Samos's cultural and historical legacy benefits the island's economy. That visitors to a place like this are also the most likely to make a long-term investment on the island.
Samos, normally it's well known already from the last 2,000 years, because also Cleopatra was making holidays here, and a lot of famous Romans. Until now, of course, it's a place for tourism.
Buyers on Samos are as likely to be attracted by the island's climate, history and lifestyle as the potential for good appreciation on their property investment. Samos is unlikely to attract the type of buyers associated with the fast-paced property markets of the Middle East or Eastern Europe. The market here is more long-term.
The fervour for buying overseas over the last few years has really been all about speculators with a very short-term outlook, wanting to buy and sell before completion. And that isn't happening anymore. The markets have gone very flat and certain markets have become very overdeveloped. So there isn't the opportunity to make that quick money now. So the people who are the kind of buyers who are propping up markets now are the lifestyle buyers who are really looking at places that they love, and they have a very specific notion of places they want to come and buy. It's obviously an island that's very popular with walkers and people who like nature. It's not a place where you're going to come for nightlife and things like that. So yes, it's going to be people who want to get away from it. It's reminiscent of bits of Tuscany, bits of inland Andalusia. So it will be people who want that sort of slightly rural beauty and also sort of a very authentic Greek experience.
One of the key benefits of lifestyle property investment is the higher possibility of rental returns and eventual resale. Samos has an established tourist market and a growing resident expatriate community. Samos's greatest asset is its ability to attract people who are not only after a good investment, but also a place where they can live or visit.
We looked at other areas, yeah, I mean, Spanish islands, that sort of thing. Greece is more affordable, and the sort of level of facilities that are on offer here are on a par with much more expensive resorts elsewhere in Europe. So it seemed like a really great place to invest because it's more affordable, but it's also very safe because it's a European country. The holiday market's very well established here. People like Greek holidays, and you know what you're going to get, and that is a very good experience.
The type of buyers is definitely changing now, whereas a few years ago, up until probably 2 years ago, it was mainly investors who were looking purely in the short term for somewhere they could buy and sell within, well, before the property completed. Now it's people who are buying to use it themselves. They're looking at sort of 10 years or more. Also increasingly to move to these kind of places or to spend the winter months here or long periods. So that means people's criteria of what they need in a property has changed completely. They want something that resembles more their own home, something, you know, high quality, good level of comfort, good amenities.
Many of the more established holiday destinations have had lax planning in the past, which meant that you could have whole housing estates built in relatively idyllic locations, which now appear like a small city on the beach. The wonderful thing about Greece for many years now is the Greek government have been very strong in their planning regulations and have not allowed us to build the large holiday resorts which totally swamp an area and destroy its character. The Greek government is not intending to change this. They're looking for upmarket tourism, and that's the strength in the Greek property market, because you never make money by buying a property. You are only ever going to make money by selling it. And if you're in a more established country where there's 100,000 properties for sale, you're competing with 100,000 people. If you're in a Greek island and you're trying to sell your property, you have hundreds of thousands of people visiting Greece, but few properties to compete with.
Greece is, of course, an EU country, and the buying process is well established and shouldn't be time-consuming.
Don't be afraid. It's very easy to buy a house in Samos, especially in this place, Merdziki, and other places too, doesn't matter. They must be in contact with a local lawyer in Samos and say which part of this land they want to buy or which property. They must visit a notary and a solicitor too, because in Greece it's necessary If you like to buy a house or a property everywhere in Greece, you must have a lawyer too. Except the notary, you must have a lawyer too. He must find the contract, if the contract is clean, if the property is clean, and I think in 15 days he can sign and take the property in his name.
In more detail, first appoint an English-speaking lawyer familiar with local laws and regulations. Then appoint a mechanikos politikos, or an architect licensed to survey. This is not a legal requirement, but may save on costly repairs later. A public notary must then be appointed to validate any property purchase agreement. Permission to own a property in Greece must then be obtained. This should be a formality if you're an EU citizen. You'll then need a tax registry number and a Greek bank account before signing a preliminary sales agreement. Your lawyer will then carry out a title search, after which transfer taxes are paid. Then there'll be completion and signing of the final contract. The final part of the buying process is to notify the land registry. Prices on Samos, of course, vary depending on type and location. It's still possible to find a ruin on a hillside for around 50,000 euros, but equally, there are luxury beachfront villas for over 600,000 euros. On average, you'll pay around 250,000 euros for a two-bedroom apartment in a high-end development near the coast. There are local euro mortgages available at good rates, but remember to do your research and take good financial advice before you buy.
There are several really important things to consider when you're considering a property purchase in Samos. In fact, wherever you're looking abroad to buy a property, the first is to get good, independent legal advice. You wouldn't buy a house in England without using a solicitor. Get good, independent legal advice when you buy abroad. And secondly, go on a viewing trip. You'd never buy a car in England without test driving it, and it amazes me how many people will spend their life savings and buy a holiday home in the sun without ever going and seeing it. If you go on a viewing trip, you get to not just see the plot where your property is going to be built, you also get to see the island and feel the character and the culture and really get to live that island you're investing in. I really recommend everyone comes over, especially to Samos.
I would try and find an agent who really knows the island well, someone who's got good links here and can recommend good lawyers, and I think it would be almost impossible to try and do this on your own. So you need somebody who's very familiar with this particular island and also with Greek law and has all the links.
To try to find respect people, respect developer and companies that they build, and to have an idea of a timetable program, the prices, the land. If they want to choose land, they have to see what law follows that area, and if everything is okay, they can go on easy. We have many people that they have bought here and they don't have any problems.
My advice would be to come out here, because once you've actually been out here and appreciate how good the site is, it'll sell itself. You know, I think having come out here, it's really confirmed to me that we made the right decision.
The most important rule for overseas buyers is to do your research. Find an agent who knows the island well, and above all, get good local legal advice. Samos is undoubtedly one of the most beautiful islands in Europe, and if it manages to keep a balance between good quality development and maintaining its natural beauty, it'll continue to be an excellent property investment location.
Samos is an amazing island. It's a real jewel. Having come out here, I've seen how much beauty and diversity there is here, more than I could have imagined when I was reading about it back home. So definitely you need to come out here to experience it.